Yeah, so bring, if you have extra flags, you can keep one for yourself, I guess.
All the beautiful dreams of the
Put
youth.
them right here in a nice pile.
Prayers for peace,
so
beautiful.
all of them are kind of
Vibration of this, and think about how we're all made up of vibration. Each one of us has our own vibration. Every little cell in our body is vibrating, and everything around us is vibrating. And when we listen to this, we can remember that we're all part of this universal vibration. Let's just stand up for just a couple of minutes. We're going to prepare for this joining in around the world. And you know, when we think about meditation, we just think about whatever we believe spiritually, whatever our definition of God is, that we're joining all together, that we're finding that place where we're all one. Okay? So we're going to take a breath in, bring your hands down to your belly and breathe in. And then breathe out and let the energy rise up. Everybody use your arms. Inhale down to the earth. Feel your groundedness. Go like this and feel grounded. And then exhale and lift your arms up and feel the energy rise. It radiates out into the world. So take your hands and let that golden light radiate outward. Just take that light and we'll inhale, we'll bring our arms up, and exhale, bring it together. Reach out, take a breath in, and exhale. And one more time, breathe in, and exhale. Take your right arm up and your left arm down and just reach in both directions. Feel yourself getting tall and connected to the earth, and then lean to one side. And keep breathing. Then go ahead and change your arms. Other arm up, other arm down. Let's feel how long we are. Beginning of an International Peace Day and joining everyone on the planet. Put your arms to the heart, spread your fingers wide. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. And now we're actually going to go into a meditation for a while, and we're going to hear the bell ringing at 12 o'clock and know that we're joining people all over the country, all over the world. Take your hands on your heart for a minute and feel that prayer in your heart. So as we meditate, we'll be focusing on that prayer, and if you put your fingertip right here at the third eye, just so you're aware of it, and then bring your hands back to your heart, and then bring your internal gaze to your third eye and imagine it like this beautiful window that opens up to light and to peace and to prayer. But by meditating, we'll just focus on that one spot, giving it energy, so you can release your hands into whatever position is comfortable.
This afternoon, we invite you to meet us at the City Hall at the Clock Tower on Forest Avenue. We'll be gathering there, and there we'll have our mayor speak to us. Mayor, is it Bill Camp? And we have a woman who's going to speak, Maria, and sort of, say how? Maldonada, who's going to speak and open up ceremony for us to walk through peacefully through the streets of Pacific Grove. We'll have a procession. Sidewalk. On the sidewalk. Oops. Not the streets. Yeah, we have to be clear. We have to stay on the sidewalk. Thank you, Gwen. And then we're going to the Sally Griffin Activity Living Center, and that's where we'll have another several activities, humanitarian speaker and profiles on peace and music with the Hoot Nannies, and we have a dancer. It's going to be really a fabulous time. We have a peace pole ceremony there in the garden, and we have a wall of peace where you can do some artwork and create what peace means to you. So we invite you to, spend the day and be in peace with us as we continue to move forward.
Feeling freedom completely as dark clouds lifted from the world. Hallelujah, war is over. Hallelujah, war is done. Hallelujah, peace before us. Hallelujah, peace begun. Hallelujah, war is over. Hallelujah, war is done. Hallelujah, peace before us. Hallelujah, peace begun. Shalom.
Good afternoon, I'm Maria Maldonado. I am of Aztec, Mayan, and Yaqui heritage, and I'm very honored to be here today and to share in our International Peace Day with you here. And today is the day that the United Nations, back in 1982, declared a ceasefire globally, that we shall take a stand against nuclear proliferation, and to have a day of ceasefire worldwide. And so people of all countries, of all faiths, of all cultures are celebrating right now in this moment. So would you please take a big breath with me now. Breathe in this moment. And one more. Yes, and one more. We are all connected because we are all one. And each and every one of you comes from a lineage of native peoples. It's just that the ways have been lost. But we must remember, to be at peace, we must be at peace with ourselves, first and foremost. We must remember that Mother Earth is what speeds and sustains us, and we must take a stand for peace. So I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today, for choosing peace, because peace is a choice. And I want to share with you, especially the kids here. Come on over here, kids. I want to see you a little closer. Great. There we go. Yes. The youth. I want you children to understand, and everybody here today, that every thought, every action that we take right now has the opportunity to heal all of our ancestors, 7 generations behind us, and 7 generations to the future. So the moment that we are sharing here today, gathering in peace, choosing peace, claiming peace, owning peace, and the peace pole. We are making a difference. We are making a difference right here in Pacific Grove, in California, in the United States of America that needs healing. We need healing right now. So let us all come together and let's just take one moment and repeat after me. I am peace.
I am peace.
I am in alignment with all that is of equality and for the highest good of all. Equality and for the highest good of all. And we hold this vision for the world, not that we may see peace someday, but that we are seeing peace right now, in this moment, in the eyes of each other, in the heartbeat of each and every one of us, right here in this moment. So I am so honored to be celebrating this day with you for peace, and so excited about our peace parade coming up. But I would like to introduce to you now, let's give a big welcome to Mayor Campy. Big welcome. Let me hear you now.
Thank you, Maria, and thanks to everybody for being here and the opportunity to say a few words. And I want to follow up on a theme that you touched on a little bit, which is that as we think about peace, and I do some research on these things before we start, peace is not simply a wish that somebody out there somewhere would make violence and war go away. But it's also the question of how do we live with each other here? What are the behaviors? What are the actions? What are the things we can actually do to bring harmony, at least to our lives, at this level? So I did a little research on the website, the International Day of Peace on the UN website, and here's what it says, and this is way wordier than I would personally write it, but this is what the website says. The culture of peace is a set of values, attitudes, and modes of behavior and ways of life that reject violence and prevent conflicts by tackling their root causes to solve problems through dialogue and negotiation among individuals, groups, and nations. So, and you kind of have to digest that for a while, but it really is a great thought. And what they do, and it's really a wonderful thing, they've broken that down into 8 principles. And I'm just going to mention 5 of them. One is education. We know that to be extremely important. This one is the one that catches my eye. Sustainable economic and social development, and to reduce economic and social inequities. Human rights, democratic participation, and understanding, tolerance, and solidarity. And so I want to translate that to what I experience as an elected official on this peninsula, and I think the experience is common for all of my colleagues who are doing this kind of work, and that is sometimes peace is very difficult to find on this peninsula because we have enormous contentions that if scaled up to the international level would be nuclear war. So I want to talk about some of that for a moment and throw out a challenge that for us, in the way we conduct ourselves and interact with our fellow citizens of this peninsula, we consider that we really do need to find a way that's more in harmony with these principles of peace. And by the way, one of the lessons, and this comes from the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, is that security is not equal to military might. Security is well-being and equity in enjoying human rights. And I think that is very much, not my words, but thank you for clapping for the folks who found a way to put that, I think, so relevantly. I look to the topic in particular of the economic and social inequities. And the way it comes up on our peninsula is that we are incredibly fortunate to live in this wonderful place. We like it. When we like it to the point where we don't want anyone else to share it, that's where we have the level of contention that we have to ask ourselves, is that the appropriate behavior? Are we willing to take aboard the growth in population of our state and our fair share into our community? And to me, the answer ultimately has to be yes. Or do we act to deny the enjoyment of our blessings to others who might also wish to participate? And we can't, in my mind, do that. How is it that we seek to understand and find some accommodation to those who have a different vision from what we may have as long-term residents here in this area? What accommodations are we willing to make for the population that grows around us? Are we willing to make space? How will we allow others to find productive employment? And by the way, this is rooted in many of the arguments we have that are fairly substantial, that say, I don't want anything to change. I like it the way it is for me. And yet the world does change around us, and I think we have to examine ourselves in our role for guiding a future that allows other people to have a part of this sustainable economic development. And I also want to comment that today on our national stage, we're seeing a level of divisiveness and exclusion that I find personally alarming. It does not promote peace in our community. How can we embrace our diversity? And I believe because there is strength in diversity and the aspirations we share can transcend our differences. These are questions that I think affect the way we live in peace and harmony, and effectively to share on an equitable basis the environment and the blessings that we've been so fortunate to enjoy to this point. Thank you very much for the opportunity to say a few words. I really appreciate it, and I wish you well for your festivities later tonight. Back to Maria.
Dave and Marguerite are going to do the Earth Anthem. So let's give a warm welcome to Dave and Marguerite. David, excuse me.
The Earth Anthem by Stephen Longfellow Fisk.
Oh, say can we see by the one light in all our earth to embrace at the call of all nations, where our children can play in a world without war, where we stand hand in hand in the grace of creation, where the rivers run clean through the forest of green, and the cities stand tall in the clear skies of freedom. Oh, say do our hearts sing for love and harmony forever on the planet of our earth, blessed with peace now on earth.
Wow, was that great or what? Thank you, David and Marguerite. We're getting ready to march? All right. If you have any drums or any noise makers, we have some peace banners that the kids made from Robert Downing School. With some peace flags. Let the peace train begin. Woohoo!
Like, who's leading this parade? Everybody get really excited. Really quick. You know what? I actually had to go back to work. I was just like, I was busy. But thank you. I know.
yeah, it's mellow.
I have 4 grandmas.
I just talked to him. He said that.
Hey, peace!
Good afternoon. I call forth all that is of love, that is of peace, into the sacred circle. We join now from our hearts, each and every one of us here today, share the commonality. Every person here today was born from a woman. Thank you. Every single person on the planet shares that in common. We are born from a woman. And it is through the divine life force that flows through us that I come here today to talk to you about. Chief Sonny Reina, the Chief of Peace, was unable to be here with us today. He was ill, but he wanted to make sure that I share with you the most powerful prophecy on the planet today. And that prophecy is that the alpha females shall unite in peace and bring forth salvation to the planet. This has been the native prophecy from many, many different tribes. And that is not to say that the men do not have an important part in that role. They are the guardians of life. The women are the givers of life. And it is through that divine love, that unconditional love that comes from the mother and the Mother Earth that feeds us, that sustains us. Every person on the planet today survives by having fresh water to drink. Water is life. And the women are the life givers. Water is sacred. It has energy within it. And each and every one of you today all have indigenous roots. Bet you didn't know that, did you? Probably thought, well, no, I'm Irish or Norwegian or German. And each and every Celtic, every single one of those cultures all have indigenous roots and traditions that have been lost. The ways have been lost. The tribal community of working together for the good of all has been forgotten. But not today. Today we experience that. And I will tell you, I had so much fun parading down the street singing peace songs on a beautiful day here in Pacific Grove. It doesn't get any better than this. Did you guys have a good time doing it? All right, yes, that was fun. That was great. Waving to people in the windows, bringing a smile to their face, stopping traffic. It's all good. But we have an important time. This is a critical time today. In that every choice we make today, every healing choice we make today, affects 7 generations in the past and 7 generations in the future. So your presence here today has a profound effect locally, nationally, and globally as people all over the world today gather for ceasefire of war. We have endured war for the last 15 years. Some of our children don't know a life without war. We have the power to rise up and to state and to claim, just as the peace poll, may peace on earth prevail. That is the affirmation, and a peace poll is the acupuncture point, channeling it, naming it, and claiming that we are affirming, may peace on earth prevail. We say, oh, I would love to have peace someday. I want to see peace in my lifetime. We hold the vision today for what is peace and what peace can look like. And what does peace mean to you? Beautiful sunny day, peace in the park. The most important and most powerful energy in the universe is love. Many of us were fortunate enough to experience the unconditional love of a mother, nurturing us, tending us, encouraging us, of our father, who stood by us and encouraged us and provided for us. If you were lucky enough to have both parents who were semi-functional, be blessed. There are those that didn't have that experience, that didn't have a good relationship with their family. Now is the time to forgive, to let it go. We have people in our families, friends, acquaintances, co-workers, that you might have some issues with. We can acknowledge that and we can move forward. But it is very important to honor and to remember that all of our ancestors have had crimes committed against them. And some have had ancestors that committed those crimes. And today, we forgive that. We forgive our ancestors. And as Maya Angelou says, when you know better, you do better. And we are learning, and our evolution is increasing at such an incredible speed. But now is the time to empower young girls and women who shall lead with that power of nurturing and caring energy. And it is the men who will guard and stand guard by their women. The world may look very chaotic today. And as we remember, that is not who we are. We are kind, we are loving, we are caring, we are giving people. And those that we see that do not mirror that back to us are people in pain. They're people in pain who are angry and outraged. And yes, there are things in the world to be angry and outraged about. However, there is far more to be grateful for, right? So let's hold that vision. Let's hold that vision right now and know that the work that each and every one of you who are here today on the journey and the path that had led you here to this moment, here today, has purpose and meaning. You are here for a reason. And that reason is to be peace, is to be love, and to bring in a new world, a new way of being. The power that is within each of us that comes from the Creator directly into each and every one of us. And that has nothing to do with culture or religion. That is the essence of who you are. Don't forget it. Don't forget. You have purpose. You have meaning. And that purpose and meaning is giving hope to the youth and to everyone around you. So as I say to my son, you are responsible for the energy that you bring to the moment and that you bring to the room. So each and every day, how are you going to show up? How are you going to direct your day that I am going to be kind and have eye contact with people in my day as I go about my day? Acknowledge people. Smile. It costs you nothing. But it is a gift that brightens people's day. You have no idea what their day is like. That is powerful. That you can bring joy and love to people. I want to acknowledge the ways that have been lost, the ways that we are remembering of our purpose to be here. And I thank you from my heart to your heart that we may live in prosperity and peace, not only today, but that collective energy of peace, that willingness, that desire. You have the power to create that and to have those ripples of peace spread across the planet. Never underestimate the power of peace. That we have here in your local community. Bill Butler was the U.S. Navy light attack fighter pilot who went down over North Vietnam in 1965, the early days of the Vietnam War. He was held as a prisoner of war for almost 5 years. 8 years, almost 8 years, sorry. After his release, he was discouraged and angry to learn that the war had been predicated on lies to the American people and sustained by a foreign policy of hubris and pride. In his book, 3 Lives of a Warrior, he describes how he became an anti-war activist over time. After observing more and more foreign interventions, wars, CIA murders, and drone attacks. He is the founder of the local Veterans for Peace organization and has been the president of the group for 20 years. He has also been an advisor on the local UNA USA branch, a member of the Community Action Committee, and a past member of the Peace Coalition of Monterey County. Quote, I still consider myself to be a warrior, but I changed direction, he says of himself. I'm not a pacifist, but a warrior for peace and social justice. retired public health nurse and teacher and a longtime peace and nonviolence advocate. She is a longtime member of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom and past officer of the Peace Coalition of Monterey County. A Quaker and a member of the Monterey Peninsula Friends Meeting, Carol has opposed U.S. military actions abroad and was part of the local direct action task force against torture. Carol is an active in Safe Schools, which is a coalition of 25-plus organizations and individuals working together to reduce pesticide exposure threats for the region's residents. Carol feels strongly that there is no peace without social justice. She continues her advocacy of a statewide phase-out of highly volatile, highly toxic, drift-prone foil fumigants by 2020. There is little peace for migrant farm workers and their families who remain among the least protected class and whose lives are in peril through exposure to chemicals linked to cancer and other health disorders at a much higher rate than the average worker. Steve Goings, also known by his two-spirit name, Quasar, is passionate about his social justice, peace building, and civic engagement. He is a past president of the Monterey Peace and Justice Center and current second vice president and political action chair of the NAACP Monterey County branch. He has been honored for his volunteer work with AmeriCorps, Central Coast HIV and AIDS Services, and the CSUMB NAACP chapter, in which he is the founder and co-advisor. Out of his own leadership experience, he seeks to inspire people to find their calling and to discover themselves as leaders. Start with your own heart, he is quoted in Voices of Change, the People's Oral History Project. And quote, I encourage people to feel what's going on, to feel the injustice, and to do their homework. First, think about how you can assist, and second, how you can lead. Harlow has been an activist for peace and justice since the 1960s. She is a dedicated volunteer for the Monterey Peace and Justice Center and also serves as an advisor to its board. Katharina is a Muslim who speaks Arabic fluently and volunteers extensively within the local Muslim community. She has traveled to the Middle East numerous times with a variety of peace-seeking interfaith organizations, including the Fellowship of Reconciliation and Reconciliation Center for Nonviolence based in Santa Cruz. She's
also a leader on Yes on Measure Z to ban fracking in Monterey County.
Peggy Olson is a longtime peace activist and currently serves as a co-chair of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, Monterey branch. She is currently a member of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom for 34 years. Peggy advocates for election integrity and is outspoken in her opposition to the U.S.'s ever-increasing military budget that undercuts spending on critical human needs like jobs, education, and addressing climate change. While fueling endless war, Peggy has been a member of the steering committee for the Hiroshima-Nagasaki Remembrance Day, Peace Lantern ceremony held annually here in PG at Lovers Point, Cove, since its inception 12 years ago. Sylvia Shee, is that I'm pronouncing that right? Okay. Sylvia Shee is a peace warrior who continues to make a better world, directing her energy into peace and social justice causes since the mid-1970s. She is a founding member of the Monterey Peace and Justice Center, joining in 2004, and was also active with the Peace Coalition of Monterey County, serving as treasurer for both organizations for a number of years, and even to this day. She keeps the embers of peace burning brightly by actively promoting nonviolence and working for human rights and the principles enshrined in our Constitution. Joyce Vanderveer is a founding member of the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom, Monterey branch, and has also been a member since 1965 for 51 years. She's also a founding member and former president of the Peace Coalition of Monterey County, which was formed in 1991 in response to the Gulf War. Joyce is also a founding member, former board president, and current vice president of the Monterey Peace and Justice Center in Seaside, which was conceived in 2003 in response to the rush to war following September 11 attacks, with the aim of establishing a headquarters for individuals and organizations seeking alternatives to war. At almost 90 years of age, Joyce continues to publish online weekly peace calendar, a comprehensive listing of peace and social injustice events in Monterey County area, and you can find it online at peacecentral.org. Janet Wilson was the first manager of the Monterey Peace and Justice Center when it opened its Seaside doors in 2008. Janet is a former president of the Peace Coalition of Monterey County. In 2006 and 2007, Janet was a coordinator of the Direct Action Task Force Against Torture, or DATFAT. She and her sister Maggie Wilson boast they were driving forces behind 3-day demonstrations held outside the entrance to the Defense Language Institute in 2006 to protest the U.S.'s military use of torture in the Middle East and in other parts of the world. In 2008, as a 2008 recipient of the local Baha'i Human Rights Award, Janet joined an Interfaith Pastors for Peace caravan to Cuba, taking medical supplies to Cuba. Okay, we'd like to ask our guests to please stand, our honorees, stand. And we'd like to present them with a peace flag. For work and their dedication and their commitment. Peace activists here in your local community, they are having global effect. It is something that I think that your community has something to be very, very proud of.
May I just mention that these are a few of the stellar, many people that are working locally in our community and have tirelessly for decades. We're honoring them, and we're also sending a shout out to everyone who works for peace in our community and around the world.
We have a peace dance by Ryan Creatrix. Welcome.
I just want to start off by saying Happy International Day of Peace, and I'm happy to see you all and hope you enjoy this dance. I had a dance planned and I just changed it, so we'll see how that goes.
also now like to invite up Judy Karras. Local organizations. For many years, Fort Ord was one of the main training grounds for soldiers, primarily during the years when there was a military draft during the World War II, Korean War, and the Vietnam War. The Vietnam War era brought out local people to oppose the war. There was a GI coffee house and demonstrations against the war, and one of the most active groups was the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. After the war ended, there were occasional demonstrations against U.S. operations in Central America and elsewhere, but it wasn't until Operation Desert Storm in 1991 that large numbers of people came out to voice their opposition to the fighting, and these actions and individuals joined together to form the Peace Coalition of Monterey County. And the Peace Coalition remained active during the Iraqi War and Afghan War, and is still active today. And I'm just going to list a few of the groups that belong to the Peace Coalition. The Green Party, Monterey County, the Middle East Study Group, Monterey County Democratic Central Committee, Monterey Peace and Justice Center, Monterey Peninsula Friends Meeting, the NAACP, Monterey County Branch, Occupy Monterey, Return Peace Corps Volunteers, Unitarian Universalist Church of the Monterey Peninsula Social Justice Group, United Nations Association, the Monterey Bay Chapter, and the Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. The local Veterans for Peace, Chapter 46 of the Monterey Peninsula, has been a vital peace group, working with other groups and independently to end violence. The Veterans for Peace is an international organization made up of military veterans, military family members, and allies. The members are dedicated to building a culture of peace, exposing the true costs of war, and healing the wounds of war. The Monterey Peace and Justice Center, however, is really the hub for peace groups. It's located on Fremont Street in Seaside, and it's open Wednesday and Saturday and during programs. The mission of the Monterey Peace and Justice Center is to inspire and mobilize the people of Monterey County to cultivate peace, social justice, nonviolence, democracy, and environmental sustainability in our community and the world through education and advocacy. So just a couple more comments. These tie in with the Pacific Grove. Some of you may not be aware, but in 2011, the city of Pacific Grove was asked by local residents to become a member of the Mayors for Peace organization, and council members under Carmelita Garcia, they voted to do so. So on June 24th, 1982, at the second UN Special Session on Disarmament held at the UN headquarters in New York, then Mayor Takeshi Araki of Hiroshima proposed a new program to promote the solidarity of cities toward the total abolition of nuclear weapons. This proposal offered cities a way to transcend national borders and work together for nuclear abolition. Subsequently, the mayors of Hiroshima and Nagasaki called on mayors around the world to support this, and so far there are 7,132 cities in 161 countries and regions that have joined this group. So, thank you. And lastly, along with being a city member of Mayors for Peace, Pacific Grove is the location for the annual Peace Lantern Ceremony. Every August at Lovers Point, people young and old gather to decorate paper lanterns, and when it gets dark, the illuminated lanterns are launched on small, lightweight rafts towed by kayaks in the cove, with the hope that, quote, the light from each lantern will inspire hope and peace throughout this world. So it's usually the first Saturday in August. So if you haven't been this year, I hope you'll go next year, because it's a very beautiful, beautiful event. Anyway, as a member of WILP, I thank the City of Pacific Grove for hosting the International Day of Peace, and I hope that it becomes an annual event. Thank you. Take a moment to invite The mothers and the daughters from National Charity League who are still here to come forward. National Charity League, wonderful people. You may have noticed on the posters or on some of the programs and printed materials, we now have a peace garden between the Meals on Wheels building, the Sally Griffin Center, and the golf course. And tonight, we're going to dedicate that garden as a peace garden. And I'd like to invite you to come and just say a couple words about National Charity League. The things you do, what you've done with us, what it means to you.
Hi, I'm Morgan Shirk. I am with the National Charity League, and I am with the class of 2017. I'm currently a senior at Carmel High School, and so, thank you. So the Peace Garden outside, that was actually our senior project for the National Charity League. We were given the opportunity to pick which nonprofit organization our nonprofit organization would get to partner with and give back something to the community, because we have people, high school girls from, it's a mother-daughter organization, and we have high school girls from all around Monterey Bay and Salinas, and so we were really wanting to give back to the community in any possible way that we can, and we eventually chose the Meals on Wheels Peace Garden to renovate. And so what this entailed was we went and got donations, and then we actually went and physically made the garden. And so I hope that everyone enjoys it. I'm not sure if anyone frequents the Meals on Wheels facility, but I really hope that for whomever goes there a lot will really enjoy it and represent what this event is all about. Really find peace outside and go back to your roots in nature. And so I think that that's really important. And so I hope that
I also want to take a moment for all of the individuals who made today possible. I would like for you to stand up. Let's acknowledge our peace warriors who made today